Of course, these are pictures earlier in the day during the supplementary election in Kebbi State. We can now join our correspondent Femi Akande, who is live for us in Kebbi State. Hello there, Femi. We understand that counting has ended, sorting and counting, that is, have ended in Kebbi State. Tell us more about the highlights of today's voting so far.
Yes, Kemi, that particular polling unit I reported is in Gwandu local government area of Kebbi State, where sorting and counting started earlier before the 2:30 p.m. Deadline set by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Well, that is because not all registered voters in that particular polling unit turned out to cast their vote. The electoral officers on ground had to wait for a long time, and when they realized no one was coming to vote again, they had to close voting and then carried on with the sorting and counting. That result was announced, was returned at that polling unit, and the Form EC8A was filled with the agents on ground. They all signed and agreed and accepted that result. It was uploaded, and then also the result was moved from that polling unit to the ward from there, where it will move to the registration area. But right here now, I'm at Hisba Yara, that is polling unit 33 in Marafa Ward, Brandon Kebbi local government in Kebbi State. There are about 727 registered voters in this particular polling unit, one of the biggest polling units where supplementary elections will take place here in Kebbi State. At this particular polling unit, as we speak, Kemi, sorting and counting is ongoing. You can see that right behind me, sorting and counting is ongoing. And, you know, the National Commissioner, the chairman for information and voter education for the Independent National Electoral Commission, Festus Okoye, is also right there closely monitoring that process to ensure that nothing goes wrong. You know, this is a very crucial process, crucial stage in the whole voting process when it gets to sorting and counting. In most cases, tempers flare during this process. So everyone is here closely monitoring the process to ensure that it goes on as is expected. There's also a huge interest in this particular polling unit. If you just look around me, you see a lot of people just hanging around, closely monitoring the process. Since they cast their ballots in the morning, they have not left. They have all just stayed around to watch the whole process unfold. It has also been a headache for security agents around here. We have seen the military and even officers of the police force try to control the crowd, try to keep them at a safe distance to ensure that they don't infringe on the voting area. That has been quite a challenge for them. Even people who are not of voting age are just here also trying to see the whole process, closely monitor it, and maybe quite get an experience. We are seeing the chairman of the voter education and information trying to caution the people around here, asking them to keep their calm and allow the process unfold peacefully. Well, Kemi, that's what is happening live at here at this particular polling unit, Yara polling unit 33.
Right, Femi, I also wanted to ask that for a supplementary election of this nature, how would you assess the turnout?
Well, it's still quite early in the day to speak about the turnout. If you look at this particular polling unit, there's a large number of people around here. A crowd have gathered around here, but not all of them are registered to vote in this particular polling unit. So it's until sorting and counting is done with before we can speak to that, before we can say if indeed at this particular polling unit people are turned out to cast their ballot. You know, there has just been that general interest around town. Even the polling units where they had about 299 registered voters. I'll tell you, Kevin, that there were about 1,000 people just loitering around that polling unit just to see the whole process. People are interested in knowing how the inconclusive election will be finally concluded, how the candidates will emerge, because the fate of the candidates of the PDP and the APC hangs in the balance now. So that is why the interest, that's why we are seeing this high high interest on the part of the electorate. Everyone is waiting with bated breath to see at the end of the day which political party will carry the day, Kemi.
Right, and talking about INEC and its performance this time around, days before the supplementary elections of today in some parts of the country, Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner in charge of voter education, had said that about 3 national commissioners would be in Kebbi to monitor the election. And now you say that he himself is also there in Kebbi State. But in terms of functionality of INEC's systems, especially the BVAS machines, how well did they fare in Kebbi?
Well, I reported earlier in the day of a particular polling unit where a wrong BVAS machine was deployed to that area, and when they discovered that, they had to call the attention of the registration area before that BVAS was retrieved and the proper one deployed back to that polling unit. You know, that caused a delay in the start of voting. But apart from that incident, we have not seen, or we have not had a report of maybe the BVAS malfunctioning and all of that. Just what we are seeing around is agitations on the part of the electorate. A lot of them have been quite a handful in terms of controlling, ensuring that they abide by the electoral guidelines and also ensure that the process is peaceful. We're also hearing reports in Zuru local government of someone who was fatally shot in the process of trying to snatch a ballot box and also trying to grab the rifle of a police officer, so he was shot in that process. We're also hearing of pockets of violence in some areas, but you know, in all of these cases, the military have been able to step in, calm the situation, and also allow the electoral process continue. So far, all of these incidents have not stopped the electoral process. It is still ongoing as we speak, Kemi.
Femi Akande, that will be all for now. Thanks a lot for the updates as the election in Kebbi State, talking about the supplementary election